Welcome, citizens, to CCG's 3.5 update review. So we're going to go over the main points of this past update, and talk about some of the good points, some of the bad points, and then give our score at the end. Okay, so first up, let's dive into the main points of this update. ArcCorp.
I like it. I think it's really well done. Mixed feelings when we first saw it, because I was expecting more, because they built up more in my head with the release trailers and that. But no, I'm super pleased with it. I love flying around ArcCorp. It's one of my favourite places to fly. I just don't ever want to land there.
Yeah, ArcCorp's really good to fly around in now. At first it was very, very bad with the frames, but they've tweaked that enough now that it's actually not too bad. Moons as well. The surrounding moons seem to be really cool from what we've seen of them.
They're definitely very different. Like that Walla, whatever you want to call it. It looks like a moon. It's fully like our moon, that we're used to. And then Lyria, however you want to pronounce it. I love that moon. That's one of my favourite places to go because it's just icy and cool.
Yeah, it is very cool. ArcCorp itself, very good. I've got a few niggles with it, but generally it's a pretty good achievement for Star Citizen and CIG. Get that in the game.
Oh yeah,
and running at the sort of frames that we get.
Yeah, I get pretty smooth frames there. Well, in fact, we'll find out tonight because I'm going to be running a different software that lets me know my frames. So I'll do a little test. But yeah, it always feels smooth. And I'm not going to judge it on the immediate release because that was just shocking for ArcCorp. I'll judge it on now, and now I really like being in ArcCorp. It's not far off walking around, all the other places we've been. But the views are just unbelievable, and it's big, the trains and everything, or whatever you want to call it, hover transport is awesome. So I'm really, really impressed with that. They've done an amazing job.
Yeah, Area 18 is the first couple of times you go there, it feels really complex and a bit mazy.
Yeah,
but once you get used to it, it's not as big as what you think it is. But the actual area itself is actually very well built.
Yeah. There's almost like rat runs now. You go from here to here, and you don't even have to think now. After you've been there a few times, you just go from the ships to the I want to keep calling it a bus stop. I don't even know what it's actually called. The tram stop. You go around that place without really thinking now, and that means they've done a fantastic job because that's probably taken them quite a lot of effort to make it just so that you can kind of remember landmarks. Oh, here I turn left. You know what I mean? And it's really straightforward. So top notch.
Okay, moving on to the flight model. Now, this has caused a bit of sort of contention within the community at the moment, and probably will do for the foreseeable future. We know CIG are going to be tweaking this, but as it stands, I am actually quite happy with the way it's going.
Yeah, same.
Ships feel a little bit more drifty, but I don't know. I want to say feels a bit more realistic, but that's not really the right term. It just feels better than the old previous model.
Yeah, definitely. I think with the flight model as well is I actually got moaned at in the comments because I said it felt more realistic. How do I know what a spaceship flies like? But as far as physics go, it makes more sense, we'll call it, because you've got this great big ship that has got these huge, great big thrusters that are propelling it forwards, and then it has tinier thrusters that are trying to maneuver it. And the only way that you can turn yourself really quickly is to fly like a jet fighter would, which is to actually tilt and rotate and kind of you actually have to do those things now to be able to turn properly. I had so much fun. This is going to seem weird, but I went back into my Aurora and I was flying around on, I think it was Lyria, and I was just hurtling along, and like turning in real sharp, and like just sharp enough that I can turn, not too sharp that I just start sliding. It's brilliant. I'm really pleased with it, and I like the mechanics of throttling up and being able to set the speed, especially for landing. It's brilliant. I'm very pleased with it.
Yep, I'm with you on all those points. Okay, ship-wise, we got the 300i rework. The variants are still to come, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, the 300i rework itself, though, was... I quite like the new look of the 300i. I think it looks a bit more Origin. Well, if you take the 600i as the base of what Origin ships should look like, the 300i now sort of sits within that sort of manufacturer. The old one, admittedly, I hated the old look of the 300i.
Yeah, it didn't appeal to me. I like this new one. I do. I weirdly enough, I'm like the opposite to almost everyone in the world. I didn't really like the way it flew. It flew. Yeah, flew. I don't know why that seemed like a weird word to me there for a minute, but yeah, I didn't like the way it flew. But it's very pretty. But I'm an anomaly.
We also got the variants for the Reliant series. We got the Tanner, the Sen, and the Mako. Can't really say much about the Sen because it doesn't really do anything.
No.
In fact, it even does less than the core now. So yeah,
yeah,
that's bad.
Yeah,
Mako's kind of cool. The whole camera turret on the end of the wingtip. It is a nice little touch. Although they do need to get rid of that crosshair in the middle of it.
Oh, they really do. It should be a toggle on-off option.
Yeah, definitely. The Tanner as a combat vessel is debatable.
Yeah.
We know a few people that have sort of set up the ship in certain ways to make it effective, but with the standard loadout and just generally, I'm not very convinced, and I own one.
Yeah, I don't see it being a viable fighter. I think you're going to have to put a lot of effort in to make it viable.
Yeah, definitely. Although the co-pilot being able to use turrets as weapons kind of gives it a nice party trick.
Yeah.
How useful that will be in a fight situation, not too sure yet.
I hated it. I really, really disliked firing those turrets whilst you were flying around because you can't really aim them very well. And even when you do change, your mode between being gibbled and all that, it's still not nice. You still don't really have a feel for where you're firing, and they're really sluggish as well. So as you turn, they're like 25 feet dragging behind you. It was, I didn't like it.
Yeah,
but a good idea, and at least we got some multi-crew. So
Okay, one of the other major points, I guess, that we got on the patch was the DNA face customization.
Yes.
Now, we've spent a fair amount of time playing around with the settings on this.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, it's a good addition, but I think it needs more variety. Sometimes it feels like when you're moving the sliders around, it doesn't feel like much is changing. Doesn't matter if you pick vastly different heads. It's sometimes difficult to notice what exactly is changing.
Yeah, I think the changes are a little too subtle. I think a lot of the heads are too similar. And it's just a little too. It's a very good concept, and I think that's what it is. It's a concept. I don't think it's there yet.
No.
And the biggest problem I had was bugs. Weirdly enough, that first time we made our characters was hilarious because I was trying desperately to make an ugly woman, and I think I succeeded quite well. But every single time I've made a character since then, a couple of the heads have bugged out and they've disappeared, and I have to keep reselecting them. Otherwise, I'm not quite I can't look and choose which one I want to look more like. It's bizarre.
Yeah,
that happens to me quite a lot. So still a few problems, but I like it, and it's definitely got potential.
Okay, moving on to characters. We did get a new quest giver in this patch called Twitch, I believe.
Oh, Pacheco.
Yeah. Pacheco. Yeah. It's a strange name, but hey, whatever. Now, we had some problems with this quest giver to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
Namely, we couldn't actually get the quest.
No, very frustrating.
Yeah. I did eventually get onto it, and like all the others that they've introduced into the game, kind of disappointing. Yeah, the quests these people give out aren't very interesting. They're just general, go and pick this up, take this here, shoot this person.
Yeah, very basic.
Very kind of basic quests. You get a bit of money from them, it's great. But overall, kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I think my biggest problem with that way of doing it, that system where you have to sit and wait for that mission to pop up, that makes sense when you've got loads of missions. Like, let's say we're a year down the line from now, we've got, say, 10 times more missions. They're all varied, there's a lot more going on, it's a bigger universe, you're flying around, there's a lot to do, and so you're kind of more sidetracked by other things. So then when this mission does pop up, you think, oh cool, I'll go and do that. But when you're like us and you're streaming and you've got 2 hours and you just need to do this and show people, and you can't because it doesn't come up for the entire evening, you think, well, meh, that's annoying. This is not the way it should be in a alpha testing alpha phase.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It's a strange way of doing it, so I shun them for that.
Yeah, I was just expecting a bit more out of them. I thought they would give some really funky quest. They're meant to be a hero quest giver, but they don't really give much out in the way of that's interesting.
And was she at least, like, did you have to go back to her and visit her and talk to her, and was she interesting at least?
Not really.
Yeah, that's the problem. Don't make her... I mean, she looks cool. She's sitting in a little throne with her lackeys. At least make her prominent,
And for the last big point for this update, female characters.
Partly female in my case.
Partly female, yeah. Your one was a bit weird looking. Overall, they've done a good job. I can't really fault the actual female character model at all.
Yeah, I like the fact that the animations and whatnot are, noticeably different from the male characters, which I was kind of a little bit dubious at first, because they'll have armor and they're not going to be very feminine. I was wondering if they still have some effeminate qualities, and they've done a good job with that. I was quite impressed. And even it's quite funny to see my character when I made her with that creepy, like, ugly librarian, not quite sure if she's a bloke type of character, but walking around in a sexy manner. It's quite funny, and I just thought, yeah, good job.
Yeah. Okay, weapon-wise, we now have the Banu Singe Tachyon cannon. I've only seen someone use this once in the PU. No, it wasn't even the PU, it was the PTU.
Yeah.
Looked kind of cool. It's like a beam weapon, for those that haven't seen it. It was very overpowered to begin with, but they sort of dialed it back a bit. They'll probably dial it back some more as well.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool addition. Beam weapons, kind of would make a nice variety into the game. At the moment, it's all just, standard Star Wars, pew-pew, lasers. An actual laser beam kind of weapon would be kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to see that on, like, bigger versions of that eventually on some of the capital ships where, like, they, warp in. You've had all this pew 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 pew, then they warp in and they're just like, everything charges up and you're like, oh, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
That will be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. We also got the Gemini assault rifle, which I've played around with very briefly, but I like it. It's probably my favourite assault rifle at the moment.
That was the one that I wanted to try, and I kind of forgot when the PU came out, but during the PTU and the beginning of the PU, I couldn't buy one for some reason. There was something wrong with the store, and then I couldn't buy one because obviously we'll get to it in a minute, but there were some issues, shall we say?
Yeah.
So I've literally never tried one. I will at some point buy one and play with it because it looks cool.
Yeah. We also got the Coda pistol, which is like a sort of cowboy 6-shooter type thing.
Yeah.
It's quite cool. It's powerful, as you might expect. Usually they balance these 6-shooter guns as doing massive damage, but you only get 6 bullets, kind of thing.
Yeah, a bit slower to fire or whatever.
Yeah, pretty standard. And the GT Tarantulas got revised.
Yeah.
Haven't really checked out the stats of them yet, but the general look of them, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it just looks like a cannon. Looks fine.
Gameplay-wise, we had some sort of revised maps for Arena Commander. I think they're revised. And there was a kind of a new map called Damien Comms. It's kind of similar to one of the old ones, but just different layout.
Yeah.
We also got a new system in place for the components to generate heat. Not massively noticeable. The only time I've really noticed, there's 2 times I've really noticed this. The first one is quantum jumping. Usually in a smaller ship, you get about halfway to your destination and the thing overheats and shuts out.
Yeah.
The only other time I've noticed the heat is the very beginning of the PU and during the PTU as well. Thrusters would overheat very quickly.
Yeah. To a frightening degree.
Yeah, you couldn't even control your ship most of the time.
No, I remember literally I'd just taken off, like literally I was about an inch off the landing pad and it went, thrusters overheating. You're like, come on now.
Yeah, they've dialed it in a bit and it seems to be working sort of fairly well.
Yeah.
I've not noticed the overheating thrusters too much recently.
No, I get it sometimes on the max because I'm pushing that max way too hard, and I shouldn't be. You know, it's my own fault, and that's why they're overheating. But it's still annoying because I just want an arcade game. No, but yeah, it's good. It's good because it reins me in as well. Sometimes I fly way too hard, and especially with the new flight model, that I'll crash. So it's good to have a reminder every now and then from my ship.
Yeah. We also had some HUD improvements. Well, I say improvements. They basically redid the HUD to bring it in line with the new flight model. Whether you like it or not at the moment, yeah, that's up to you. I wouldn't specifically say it's an improve. It is better, I guess, than what it was in like 3.0. You've got a bit more information going on in your HUD now. But I'm still not really happy with the whole layout or look of the HUD at the moment anyway.
No, it needs a lot of work. The one thing I will say is that the new variation on the HUD is better in a few ways, and the main important way is that I do find it easier to read now that they've brought it more centre of the screen.
Yeah.
Because I used to have massive problems in the Freelancer where I'd be coming into, I don't know, land or something like that, and I literally couldn't see either my altitude, or I can't even remember what was on the left-hand side now. This new flight model's just taken over my life. But I couldn't read it, whereas this one I seem to be able to read in almost every situation at the moment. So I don't know if that is just, maybe they've dialed back or dialed in some of the settings a little better, but yeah, I prefer it, but it's got a hell of a long way to go.
Yeah, definitely. We also had the inclusion of, guess what you call auto gimbals. This is part of the gimbal weapon improvements, part of the patch. Now, if your weapons are gimbaled, you can get a sort of computer assist, so that if you get your target within a certain area of your screen, and the gimbals will move to shoot them.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, I've played around with this in Arrow recently, and I actually think it's a quite good addition. It's not too blaggy. You still have to get it sort of fairly close to your your pointer, whatever you want to call it, your cursor.
Yeah.
It's not like it doesn't just automatically track as soon as you start. You get a ship in front of you. You have to be fairly on target anyway for it to work. So I think they've done it fairly well. I've not noticed it to be ridiculously overpowered, but it does seem to help a little bit with trying to track fast-moving ships like the Arrow itself.
Yeah, I mean, I've as people will know, I have had some we'll call them conversations in the comments section about this very subject, because it does piss a few people off that they treat it like an auto aim. That's what they think it is. They're just it's like cheating. But no, I mean, after using it and after seeing other people use it and knowing that everyone's got it, it's not a cheat if everyone's got it. It makes sense. This is the way forwards for this game, because we're in the future. We're in spaceships, for God's sake. These things would have every system imaginable that's AI, that's helping you do your job so that you don't have to do it. Basically, that's the way spaceships would be. I mean, we've got like fridges that order your food now, when you're running low. So the idea that a spaceship can track something is that doesn't faze me at all. I like it.
Yeah. That kind of segues us off into the bad points of this patch.
Yeah.
So first up, fixed weapons are broken.
Oh, so broken.
Where you would expect a fixed weapon to fire, straight ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't do that. They fire all over the place and not where you're pointing at.
It's unbelievable how they've managed to just completely break that to the point where, and it's not like it's a small thing, literally everyone you speak to, that's the first thing they say. They're like, why are my guns pierced?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how they've gone backwards. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I think there's probably a part of code in there that's kind of linked with the auto gimbal thing, and the game's getting confused. I guess that's the only thing I can really think of.
Yeah, it kind of lines up with probably another point you're going to bring up, and I'm going to tread on your toes now. Is the when you try to select somewhere to warp to and all that kind of stuff. I think it's probably linked to the same system in that that's skewed as well. So sometimes you're trying to find a point to warp, and you have to point your ship about 40 degrees off axis before you can actually find a point to warp to. So very broken.
Very, very, very broken. Another big broken point of the patch is the AI. It is terrible now.
Oh God, yeah.
Anyone that's watched our streams recently, we've been trying to do some combat missions. The enemy ships are just flying around and twisting and turning, but not in a good way, in a really false way.
Oh God, yeah. I love it because if you scroll down the list of 3.5 stuff, they've got ship AI, combat behaviour improvements, and you're like, what? What, you mean you made them and then you removed them and then all the good stuff from previous? It's shocking. That ship, what was it we were fighting? Was it like
I think it was a Gladius or something like that.
Yeah, Gladius. I've never seen a ship fly like that. It was like a paper bag in the wind. It was ridiculous. You couldn't target. You could never, ever fire on that thing. I think you managed to hit it, which amazed me. So, shocking.
We've also got a problem with the, I guess it's the physics grids in ships. If you try and place an item in the back of a ship now, it will fall through the ship, which is extremely frustrating if you're trying to do pick up and collect missions or trying to get a vehicle in the back of your ship.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing is such a fundamental part of this game at the minute, because let's face it, there isn't a lot to do, and the things there are to do are putting a box in your ship and taking it from A to B. That's basically it. And the fact that doesn't work is just beggars belief. I actually was having a chat in the comments. I think it might have even been earlier today, and it was mentioned that there's a current bug where you will spawn your ship and it's already got boxes inside that are fused into the walls and the floor of the ship, which is awesome. And but obviously it causes problems because then you can't put things down there. It takes. I mean, what is going on?
Yeah, I don't know. On top of that, FOIOP still doesn't work for us.
No.
Like, at all. VoIOP kind of works. Doesn't look very good though. I think the camera's a bit too close to the guy's nose. Personally.
Yeah.
But FOIOP, we cannot get that thing to work.
No, it's both systems, as far as I'm concerned, are broken at the moment. Even if they do work, they work on and off. And I just think that the fact that they made such a big deal of this, I can't even remember, it might have even been 3.3 or 3.2 or something. They made such a big deal out of VoIP and FOIP. And we're like 3 patches down the line probably, and it still doesn't work. You think just... And then they never mention it again. They just go shh.
Yeah.
So yeah, that seems to be the CIG way at the moment. Is kind of you sort of go, what about that? And they go shh shh.
And the other big issue we've got at the moment is the hangars keep bunging out. Sometimes it will despawn the ship before you can get there. Sometimes it will suck the ship into the floor and blow it up. All sorts of things going on there.
Yeah. I mean, the funniest thing was it didn't affect me actually, because it didn't affect you, should I say? But it was hilarious. Was you spawned in your Reliant and you got in it. For you, it was perfectly fine. But my view, it was like up on its side at the back of the hangar. There was an NPC like walking through it like it didn't exist, and you got in and you were walking around sideways inside it. It's awesome. I mean, it's a funny bug, but again, it's still, it meant I had to wait until you turned the ship on before I could get in. It's silly things like that where, I mean, come on, let us spawn a ship and just use it.
Yeah.
So negative.
There's a few more items in the whole gameplay section. They say they're in there, but they either don't work or are not noticeable at all.
Yeah.
Things like vehicle radar. Apparently that's been updated. You never see that.
No.
Vehicle scanning improvements. No. Degradation improvements. No, still not seen that work.
No.
Group system improvements. Nope.
No, still buggy as hell.
Yeah.
There was a couple of other bugs which I found hilarious, which I'll just mention now because they were mentioned in our comments, so it amused me. And one of them in particular was be careful if you die at ArcCorp without a helmet on, because in the Habs sometimes there's no oxygen, so you just keep dying over and over again because you can't put your helmet on in time. That's such a hilarious and also annoying bug. Yeah, it just made me giggle, that one, and I apologise to whoever it was who said that in the comments, because that was obviously horrible for you, but it did make me chuckle.
Yeah, things like that are like major game breaking. That's you done until the next update.
Yeah, basically. I mean, let's not even touch on, unless you particularly want to, the first week of 3.5.
Yeah, that was a bad experience, which was kind of strange because the PTU, by the end of the PTU phase, was running smooth as.
Yeah.
And then they went live with it. I don't know what happened, if it's just server load between the two, which was making the difference. But when the PU first dropped, it was terrible.
It was such a shock because that 3.5 PTU is probably the best that this game has ever run for me. Barely any crashes. We were able to do things in our streams we've never been able to do because it just crashes or bugs out. It was a brilliant experience. And then 3.5 came out, and the first week was actually painful because we could barely do anything. I mean, I was stuck with I had the inability to equip weapons, But the biggest problem for me was I had an inability to put a helmet on, which meant for a whole day I couldn't play until they kind of got a little bit more structure to the inventory system. And it was so bad. God knows how they managed to get it from PTU, pretty awesome, to PU, shockingly bad. So, yeah, mental.
Okay, and with that comes our Cowface score. Now, personally, I really want to give this a 4, but I can't. All the bugs bring it down so much. I'm gonna have to drop it back down to a 3.
Yeah. Do you know, it's funny, I've been thinking about this all day, and I said to myself, you know, like, I want it to be a 4 because there's so much cool stuff in it, but maybe in a few weeks' time we're going to be able to enjoy stuff a bit more, but you just couldn't enjoy what had come out. It's still buggy as hell, and that kind of knocked it down. For me, it was a 2.5. It was like a 2.5, because I had such a bad experience when it first came out. I actually thought to myself, for the first time in a long time, I don't think I want to play this.
Yeah.
Which is just horrible. But, you know, after that first week, I gave it a grace period, and okay, it's kind of playable now. So I'm going to stick with 3 as well, just to be safe. Go down the middle.
And there you have it, citizens. 3.5 update gets 3 Cowfaces.
Oh. I just want to point out as well, because I know that it sounds negative, a lot of the stuff that's kind of been the back end of this video, but there's a huge difference between negativity and facts. And unfortunately, all of this stuff is just hard facts that we've gathered from all of our Discord, from all of the comments, you know, everywhere that we go in this game and on our YouTube. This is what we're getting. Just a wall of upset, basically, at the minute. So I mean, we're not trying to be negative or put down a patch, but let's face it, it was pretty shocking. But it'll get better, you know, I'm pretty sure.
So, at some point, yeah, we'll do.
Yeah.
So, do you agree with our score? Let us know in the comments below. If you disagree with our rating, also let us know in the comments below. And leave this video a like, and for all you new people, subscribe for more Star Citizen content. Bye for now.
Bye bye.